Hi everybody, my name is Christina and this is the Sheepishly Knit channel. I normally post knitting podcast videos on here, but today I figured I would do a 2024, what I knit in 2024 video, because I don't have a lot of whips to talk about this time. And also I really wanted to do this video, but I was kind of contemplating it because I have 23, spoiler alert, but I have 23 finished objects, of which 14 were gift knits. So I like I don't have like half of the finished objects with me. Yeah, I figured I still have pictures of almost everything that I knit, so I can still include it here, even though I can't show it to you like right now. So yeah. Um Maybe to recap 2024, I would say it's my first full year of knitting. I actually started in the end of 2022, but I didn't knit for like 6 or 7 months in 2023. So if you consider that, I would say this is my first full year of knitting, and um, yeah, I will try to talk about everything in chronological order, but yeah. So for like the data, maybe, as I said, I have 23 finished objects, of which 6 were garments, 2 garments were gift knits. I have 4 like miscellaneous things and 13 accessories. And in total, I did 14 gift knits. So like 9 knits for myself and 14 gift knits, if I'm not mistaken. And as I said, I will just show you the I will just show you the pile that I have accumulated. So this is about half of it, but I think I have every single garment in this pile. So all garments are in here, but every accessory that I gift knitted is not in this pile. So speaking of gift knits, I will start with a gift knit actually that I don't have with me right now. I knit in a Sophie shawl inspired scarf. I will insert a picture here. For my sister, it was kind of an additional Christmas gift which I finished in January, and yeah, I don't actually quite remember, but I found like a free. Um, I found like some random Ravelry project which was not from the Sophie scarf or shawl, but like I think from a free pattern where they included the I-cord edging. They just followed basically what she told me. So yeah, it's not exactly the Sophie scarf. I think the increase and decrease rates is different, but I'm very happy how it turned out. And yeah, I knit this one in drops Lima. You will see a trend here. I knit a lot of drops Lima this year, especially I think in the second half of the year. So this was my first finished object. My second finished object, um, my second finished object was also a gift knit, but I do have it with me here because it was a gift knit for my boyfriend. I knit him a pair of socks. Please excuse that they are worn and not washed. I didn't prepare like the knits for this video at all, so they need a wash right now, but I knit him these watermelon socks. This is I'm pretty sure it's Schachenmeier Regia cotton, and there was like a special edition, a Tutti Frutti edition, where like the stripes were inspired by fruits, and he loves watermelon, so I chose like I saw the watermelon colorway on some like Ravelry project, and I knew I wanted to knit him these pair of socks. They were supposed to be gifted for his birthday, but I didn't finish on time, so he got them a little later. And yeah, it was a pain to knit these. I knit these on 2.25 millimeter needles on magic loop, 2 at a time. I knit my socks 2 at a time. And my tension on magic loop, especially on socks, I'm not sure if it's just magic loop or just socks, is quite tight. So it did hurt my hands a little bit, but he does wear them quite often, so I think it was worth it. So yeah, the only thing I have to say about the yarn is this was one singular skein, and it was an 100-gram skein. It wasn't really easy to find. I found it only like on Amazon for where they only had like a few of those left, so I'm not sure um, if it's maybe easier to find now or something. But this is from a single skein, which I just divided into two. And as you can see, like the black stripes, which should represent like the seeds, the seeds of the watermelon, they look totally different. Like here, it's almost a full black stripe, and on here, it mostly looks more like seeds, but it washed out already quite a bit, so they're barely visible. But anyways, while I was knitting this, I knit on these on the go as well. Everyone recognized these as watermelon socks, so it's a win. The next finished object that I have So my next finished object is my first garment. This is the Minou cardigan by Knitting Deer. This is I think my second ever knit garment. I do like how like the fabric and everything looks on here, but this was sadly still a fail on my part because I cropped the sleeves and the body length quite a bit actually, because I wanted a more cropped cardigan or like a little shorter cardigan that I can wear with skirts and dresses as well, but it turned out way too cropped. And I think my tension on the double knit button band is good, but when I wear it, the front also like raises up a little bit, I think due to the double knit button band as well. And yeah, it just looks very weird on me. I gave it to my mom because my mom is a little like shorter than me and everything, but it's still not the best fit on hers also. So I will probably frog this one because I have quite a bit of this yarn left. This is a cone yarn, which is like, I think 80% merino, 20% angora. And I do love this color. And I have a little less than the same amount left. So I figured I will just do another garment with this and repurpose the yarn and yeah, first use the fresh yarn so the new garment looks fresh still, and everything that I need extra I will use from this cardigan. So yeah, I think this was this year's biggest flop. So it's still cute though. And it's not the pattern's fault, as I said, I cropped it myself, so yeah. Right after my biggest fail was more or less like my biggest win. And this is another accessory that I did. This is the Louis Louis collar by Kukiko Inoue, I think. Inoue. She's a Japanese designer, and this is just like a collar. Sorry. You can wear like on top of garments, and I think especially I finished this in February, I think, or in March, and I wore this until like the heat of summer started. Like this was one of my most worn, if not the most worn item I knit this year. Just like for me personally, for my style, it's like the perfect accessory without being like too over the top, but still kind of, yeah, this little extra detail that I enjoy. Mostly, I wear this with like a big oversized hoodie when I want to be really comfortable, but I don't feel like the best in just like oversized hoodies and big jeans. So I just throw this on, and it feels a lot cuter right away. So this was one of my biggest wins. Oh, and this is knit up in some remainder of the yarn from the Minu cardigan and held together with a strand of Cascade 220 in the color Iridescent, I'm pretty sure. It's like this light purple multicolored yarn. I really enjoy this color, I really love it, so I really want to knit something out of the Cascade 220 held single, or like, yeah, so the color can shine more. So yeah, the next object that I have, I think, the next two objects that I have actually are gift knits. So first I knit these shark socks by Fiona Gobble. Sorry if I'm looking down, I have notes here in front of me so I don't forget. Yeah, I knit the shark socks by Fiona Gobble, and they turn out very cute. But I have to say they were not the most fun to knit, even though I knit them on like 3mm needles, so quite a big gauge for socks. Um, and I knit them all with drop snort. So the triangles for the mouth opening of the socks were kind of really tedious to do. And also I knit these for men, so um, yeah, for a friend of ours. And I hate knitting socks for men. They take way too long. So yeah, but I think they turn out so nice. He also, I think he really enjoys those, and yeah, quite happy with how they turned out. So the next finished object, which was also a gift knit, was for one of my nephews, or rather my boyfriend's nephew. I knit his oldest nephew a hat last year for Christmas. So I really wanted to knit something for every other of his nieces and nephews this year. So I started with a Bear Ears beanie by Tara Marie, which is a free pattern, and it's just a like basic. It's just a basic beanie with like bear ears attached. It is very cute. And I used, like for the ribbing, I used leftover yarn that I had, which was just merino, so I think it should be really soft against the forehead. But for the main body and the ears, I used um, a boucle yarn. I'm pretty sure it's 100% acrylic or something because I got it in Turkey and it didn't state the composition at all, and also um, it was like really cheap, so I'm pretty sure it was acrylic yarn. But I still got a ball of it because it was like tweed no boucle yarn, but it had also tweed bits in it. So I thought it was really cute. And then when I decided to do the bear ears beanie, I thought this was like a perfect combination. So I just followed the pattern exactly, and yeah, did it, but I did it with a tweed yarn, and because of that, my row gauge I think was a little smaller, but my stitch gauge was a lot wider with the yarn, I'm pretty sure, because in the end the beanie turned out a little more like a beret, but I do still think it's really cute, especially it's like for a 4-year-old child, so I don't think he will mind too much. Yeah, and it looked adorable while he wore it, or tried it on rather. After this, it started to get warmer, and I started, like, summer has started. So I didn't really plan to do a lot of summer knits because I don't think, like, in Germany, in northern Germany, you have the necessity for a lot of summer clothes because summer is quite short and not too warm. Um, but I really wanted to knit this blouse number one, so this is my next finished object. Um, I knit this out of a cone yarn, and I'm not quite sure about the, like, about the content of the yarn. When I asked her, she said it was 100% cotton. While I was knitting with it, it also felt like 100% cotton because it was very splitty. Um, this was my first stockinette big project, because I do enjoy doing texture more, but I really wanted this blouse number one. So this was my first, like, big stockinette project. And this made me feel that I hate stockinette because this yarn was so splitty, I couldn't, it was not mindless at all for me. I still had to, like, kind of look at every single stitch what I was doing if I was getting all the single strands. So it was not mindless at all. And for some time I thought I hated stockinette, but yeah, after my next stockinette project, I realized it was not the case. It was just the yarn and stockinette. Um, but I think it turned out quite nice. I did one modification, and because I liked more how this yarn turned out, how this yarn looked on 4mm needles, I knit this garment on 4mm needles. But to accommodate for, like, the smaller needle size, I sized up a size. So this is, like, I think I knit the 2XL except instead of the 1XL. So anyways, I sized up one size in the garment and sized down one needle size. Other than that, I'm pretty sure I did everything to pattern except for, like, the lengths. I always check this with, like, mid-project blocks and try-ons because I'm quite particular about my lengths. But as you can see, um, because it was, as you can see, this doesn't always work out for me. So because this was because I thought this was 100% cotton yarn, I just one day just randomly put it in the wash with, like, my normal washing, and it shrunk. But it only shrunk, like, lengthwise. It didn't really shrink widthwise. So I'm quite happy about this. So I'll probably just, like, pick up stitches here again and just elongate. The only thing I'm a little worried about is that my gauge might differ quite a bit, especially because this is, like, a little felted. So I'm not sure if I will just add stockinette stitch or if I will add, like, a little texture on the end just to hide the, like, just to hide this transition, I guess. Also, I already plan to knit another blouse number one, so I'm not too mad about this one. As I said, summer has like, kind of started, and I really didn't want to knit on anything big. Or I did have a sweater project on the needles at the moment, but I really didn't want to knit on it because I really didn't want, like, anything heavy or too warm on my lap while knitting. So I used the time in summer to do a lot of my gift knits, like, for accessories and stuff. So the next finished object that I did was the berry bonnet by Drops Design, which is like a strawberry hat, and it turned out adorable. I think this might be my favorite of the gift knits that I did for the nieces and nephews, because it was also the best fitting one in the end, but still, it looked so adorable on our niece. So yeah. Um, Oh, and this was not in the recommended yarn, which was Drops Charisma. It's not the most comfortable yarn to knit with, but the finished object looks quite nice. So I think it's worth it. But I'm not sure how the itchiness on the forehead, because it is a little more rustic. So I will ask my niece about this. Maybe next year. Yeah, after the bear bonnet, I knit the Grow Hat by Fiber Tales for my friend for her birthday. Her birthday was in the beginning of September, so yeah, I really wanted to knit her something, and I decided on the Grow Hat because I really like the hat and I wanted to try it out. I did one modification. I added a whole chart repeat because the projects everyone was talking about it being too small, and even like with the whole chart, like two leaf motifs added, for me it still would have been way too small. So if I ever knit the set for me, I might even add two lace charts, or I would figure out something different. But for my friend, I think it was okay. And as I said, Drops Lima will be a theme this video, so the grow hat was knit in Drops Lima. After the grow hat, I finished off my sleeve vibes by Sachiko Bergen. So this is just kind of a bolero. I will see if I will be able to put like try on videos or b-roll in, or if I would just put pictures in. But yeah, I didn't do the neck ribbing because I liked the way it looked in this yarn with the like rolled edge. So this was quite a long whip on my needles because I actually almost finished this in February, but um, at the end I finished it like in August or something because um, I didn't really check my roll gauge, and when I first finished it, it was way too short. So, especially like under my arms, it kind of finished here when I raised my arms, and I really wanted it to at least cover a little bit of my armpit while having it on. So, I just ripped back the whole thing and decided to elongate it for a few centimeters. But because this was like made, the front is made with like wrap and turn short rows, and you have to kind of knit two together at the end. They aren't as invisible as German short rows, so um, here's like the worst part. I think you can see a few like little holes in here, and basically this would directly go into the ribbing. So when I first finished it, it wasn't as noticeable, but because I just elongated it with normal stockinette stitch, it kind of is more visible. So I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're knitting it out of smoother yarn than this, but this is Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk, and um, yeah, I think it's not as visible on this yarn. So yeah, just. And the other modification that I did, she has very rapid decreases and like very fitted sleeves in her pattern, but I really wanted like loose fitting sleeves. And because I finished the sleeves before I even bought the pattern for the blouse number one, I didn't know how to do like a slightly flared out, nice looking sleeve, so I just did straight sleeves. But ideally, I would do something like the blouse number one. But yeah, I think it turned out quite cute, but I don't really wear it because I'm just not like a bolero type. I don't know how to really style this one very nicely. So I will jump into quite a few gift knits right now again. So the first one was a baby vest I knit for my cousin. My cousin in Russia um, became a first time dad. So um, I really wanted to knit his child something. and I had quite a bit of like drop sleema left over from different projects, and I had a skein with like a wrong color that I ordered and everything, and I just did like this stripy, slightly scrappy version of a like garden vest. And since they live in Siberia, I held the drop sleema double and to be like extra warm. So I'm very happy with the result actually. Um, but it turned out to be like the perfect size, so I think it will only fit for a short period of time, sadly, but it is stretchy, so I think they can get a little bit, at least for this winter, they might get some wear out of it. Next, I did the another Christmas gift net for my for our niece, and I did the berry scarf by Ayong Son Ayong. Um, Sorry for butchering the name. Um, this is a free pattern. I saw it, I think, on Birch and Lily's. She did like a recommendation, free pattern recommendation list, and I fell in love with the scarf. It's so cute. So I decided to knit it for our niece, um, and I also knit it in drop sleema in like this purple colorway. But I have to say, I worked with quite a bit of drop sleema, and I thought it was very soft and everything. But I have to say, this scarf turned out very itchy. So they probably will only be able to wear it over something else. But yeah, pretty sure drop sleeve. I'm pretty sure it's because of the color. But yeah, just something I noticed. My next finished object is the Charlie pullover by Morika Knit. And I knit this one for my sister for her birthday. So this is it. I'm currently at her place, so I just grabbed it out of her closet. And overall, I'm very happy how it turned out. Like, I didn't see it for a long time, and in my mind, it looked worse than it actually looks. I'm quite happy how it looks actually. I just thought that my tension could have been neater, but I'm quite sure it's due to the yarn, because the yarn is also cone yarn, and I have, I think, 3 strands of merino and angora, like the 80% merino, 20% angora, and a very thin strand of mohair in here. Um, and yeah, this was a very ambitious project for me. I think this was like my third or fourth garment that I ever knit. It was my first garment with that included like German short rows for the shaping and everything. So yeah, but nevertheless, I think it turned out very nice. I think Morika Knit has like the perfect. I think her finished objects always look so neat, and yeah, she kind of has these details that make it almost look store bought. So I'm very happy how this turned out. But I do have like a few mistakes. For example, the tightness on the double knit button band, kind of, especially like the edge stitches, kind of varied a little bit. Also, it does pucker a little bit here, or not pucker, it does kind of cinch the fabric here a little more than I would want it to. Um, but for like one of my first garments, I'm quite happy how it turned out. And yeah, it looks so good on my sister. I think the style really suits her. I will put a picture of her wearing this. The only thing, the length kind of shrunk after some wear, so she asked me to elongate at least the sleeves a little bit. So I will do this like probably sometime next week or something. I'm currently also dog sitting her dog a few times a week, which is why I'm at her place right now. So I think this would be like the perfect opportunity to do this little modification. After doing like this big project, which took a lot of out of me, to be honest, um, I wanted just a little like mindless project. So I did the famous Ribka pouch, and yeah, this was my first version of it. Spoiler, I made another one. um, this is just knit in some random sock yarn and drops brushed alpaca silk. And for this one I did like just knotted eyes. I really like how this turned out, but I wanted to use this for like my Bluetooth headphones, and they don't fit in here, so I'll probably gift this to to one of my friends or something. So it's like laying around waiting to be gifted to someone. After the Ribka pouch, I really had a role with the like tiny ass project, so I made this. This is just really basically a swatch that I crocheted together two sides. My boyfriend bought a like mini cast iron pan while we were in vacation, and while using it, we realized that the handle does get quite hot, and it's because it's so tiny, it's not really handy to use like a towel to grab it. So I just knit this kind of handle guard out of scrap yarn. This is the Drops Charisma I had left over from this berry bonnet. And yeah, I just held a double, did basically a swatch and connected it here. And it works perfectly. I think Garter stitch was the perfect choice because it's so stretchy, it just kind of, it's the perfect size to put on and off. So yeah, just a little trinket in between. After that, I finished the second garment gift knit of the year. Um, my mom turned 60 in November of 2024. So yeah, I really wanted to do something special for her, and I decided to knit her a cardigan as a surprise. So it was quite nerve-wracking to do something like this as a surprise, but luckily my sister and her are more or less the same size. So my sister modeled this for me quite a bit. Um, but this is the Hackett jacket by Really Ruth, which is like thick cardigan or jacket pattern with like many options for modifications. So for example, this one I modified with doing the I-cord edge instead of like ripped edges, because I thought just looked so classy, and I kind of could really imagine my mom wearing this a lot. So yeah, um, I did struggle a little bit with the color choice. Yeah, I didn't want to knit like just a neutral, but I wanted her to get a lot of wear out of it. So like dark green is, she does wear some dark green or a lot of dark green, and she likes it. But I couldn't like find the perfect combination of yarns. I wanted the main yarn to be drops because it's affordable, and I really didn't have too much budget to spend. So the main strand is Drops Lima again, and I used just like the dark ivy, like the dark green color, which is quite like brownish yellowish, and I wanted it to be a little more like cool toned. So I decided to use a cooler toned mohair with it, and I really wanted to use the Isea mohair because it was so like a lot of people talked good things about it, and both me and my mom think that we are quite sensitive to mohair, so I really wanted to use the softest mohair. And yeah, I used the Isia mohair in the color, I'm pretty sure it's 56. So yeah, these are like horn buttons, which I think look very, very cute with this with this color. And this was a really big hit with her. She was very happy about this one, and so I was also very happy about this. And also, this was such a quick knit because I think I knitted on 5mm needles. Um, and it was quite thick yarn. It knit up very quickly. I really enjoyed knitting this one. I really want to do a hacker jacket for myself as well. After I knit my sister and my mom a whole garment, I really didn't want to leave out my dad because he's turning 60 in 2 years also. So, I might as well just leave the big things for then. And I just knit him a pair of socks for Christmas. I used a free pattern, the White Rib Decay socks by Erica Saint, because I really didn't want to think about anything. This was, I think, my first real decay weight socks, so I really didn't want to figure out how many stitches to cast on. I think while he was trying them on after Christmas, I think they turned out a little tight, because he has quite a big instep. So I think just getting them on and off is a little tight. So I will keep this in mind if for like other socks I will maybe knit him in the future. And I kind of told myself after I finished those, I had a lot of fun doing those. I told myself I will only knit DK weight socks for men from now on, but we'll see. um, yeah, then my friend gifted me for my birthday in the beginning of the year. She gifted me a ball of yarn, which was like the Rico design, like cotton fleece or something. And I really wanted to use it, but I didn't really know what to use it for. So I just kind of self-drafted a hat pattern, and this is how it turned out. I basically did a stockinette hat with like a ruffle edge, and I finished the edge with like leftover drops brushed alpaca silk because I wanted to have like a fluffy fluffy edge, and I also wanted the contrast color because I don't think this color really suits my face a lot, to be honest. So yeah, I took this hat with me to Japan, but we didn't get a lot of cold days, so I didn't wear it a lot. But I have like um but when we were at the USJ, the Universal Studios Japan theme park, um, it turned so cold that day. So I'm glad I had this with me, and I think it looked very cute. For this hat, I didn't block it because I did knitted this top down because I didn't know how to do the ruffles otherwise, and I did a little too many increases, I think. So it turned out a little loose, and I'm very worried that it might grow a lot when blocking it. So I just didn't block it. Um, but yeah, I think it turned out quite cute. If I wouldn't have my hair up, I would try it on for you. So after the hat, I just did another ripka pouch. This time around, I made sure that my headphones fit in here, and they do. But I don't really have a big mohair stash, so most of my mohair are scraps from like really old scraps, and I really loved this color, but I'm not sure if I love this color in combination with the sock yarn. I'm not sure how I feel about the way darker mohair on here. I might do another one of these for myself. But I also bought tiny little buttons to do as eyes for ribka pouches. So yeah. I will figure this out. Now, this is the last project I have with me. This was this year's Christmas sweater, basically. This is the Gal sweater by Maria Ziablikova, I think. And Gal, I think, means wave in Hebrew. I think that's what the pattern said. So you have this very nice lace wave motif. Yeah, I talk about this more in my podcast, but basically this is knit bottom up, and I did have a little bit of struggle with this. But other than that, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. This was also knit in Drops Kid Silk Mohair. Quite happy with this one. I did 3 more knits in the end of the year, so I will just briefly talk about those. So, for one, I finished off the Christmas gift knits with this dinosaur hat for my nephew. This was also knit in Drops Lima. I started using the instructions of the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, but I quickly realized that I want I don't want the swirly decreases, but I want straight decreases. So I just did a different kind of decrease. I'm not sure actually which one I did, just kind of a center decrease. Because I wanted to attach like these triangles to be like reminiscent of a dinosaur. And for that, I really wanted there to be a straight edge I could like line up the triangles for. And then I just freehanded the triangles and attached them. And I think, honestly, I'm very proud how this turned out, especially with like the free-handed triangles. They look very cute. So yeah. And the last 2 objects that I finished were just very miscellaneous. My boyfriend's mom, while we were visiting, just gave me yarn she got as a hand-me-down, but since she doesn't knit, she just gave it to me. And I didn't have any projects with me really, so I just used the yarn. And it was like acrylic yarn, no. And it was like polyester yarn, 100% polyester, so I knew I wouldn't get a lot of use out of it once I'm home. So I just tried to knit as much as possible out of it. So first I did just basic house slippers. Then on the way back home in the train, we had like a 4.5 hour train ride. I knit up the Merry Mini Tree by Traveling Knit, and I knit it up way off gauge. So I will insert pictures, of course. I don't have pictures for the slippers, but I will insert a picture of the Merry Mini Tree. I think it turned out very cute, even though it turned out like this big instead of mini tree it was supposed to be. And I also stuffed it with the yarn I was knitting it with, just to get it out of stash as much as possible. I gifted this to my mom in between the Christmas days, and she really liked it. And I think it's even better that it was 100% polyester, because now we can just store it with a Christmas decoration without being afraid of moths or anything. I wish I would have just finished one more project to have like 24 projects in 2024, but maybe this year will be the year. And I'm very excited for the new year. I do have quite a few knitting plans actually this year. And I'm very excited to start those. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I would love if you leave a comment or a like. And yeah, I hope to see you maybe in my next podcast episode. Bye bye.